Welcome to the second e-course for Market with Numbers. In this course, we'll be talking about your marketing strategy. Now, of course, strategy is a broad term, but without having your strategy in place, it's really difficult to actually design and implement the various tactics to make sure that you're actually executing upon your broader strategy. But your strategy is critical, obviously, because that's what builds and sustains your business. And certainly from a marketing perspective, it guides the decisions that you'll be making. So, talking about marketing, Market with Numbers is designed to make this very important part of your business strategy into something that's a bit more formulaic to a degree, but something that's easy to plan and implement. We'll use techniques like color coding, and we use personifications to make the process as intuitive as possible. So you want to make sure that you review the e-article so you understand the marketing personalities. They're pretty straightforward, and I think you'll find it pretty easy to apply these personalities within the context of your business, and this will serve as a foundation for building out your strategy. Now with that, we want to build your loyalty ladder. Your campaign is what drives your prospects up the loyalty ladder. It's about how you help migrate your prospects up the loyalty ladder to where your prospects become customers. Now, I know that many, and probably most of you listening to this e-course, is probably experienced with the whole notion of managing your quote-unquote pipeline of opportunities. And overall, that's what we're doing. But with Market with Numbers, we take that to a different level. We take it to a level of granularity that probably most companies, even big companies, don't even get into. Most companies regard prospects and kind of group them into this large container of people ranging from what we term loiterers all the way into shoppers. For us, what we do is we actually organize these prospects into smaller containers. And why do we do that? Well, it's because the process of converting prospects into buyers actually has to have that level of granularity. It absolutely makes sense, and it's important that you match your actions to your prospects' needs and wants and behaviors. Now, facilitating this migration is what you want to accomplish in building out your loyalty ladder. You're going to make sure that your overall marketing campaign accounts for each and every color. In other words, your marketing campaign is really a set of campaigns. You want to make sure that you maintain order, and remember, there are no shortcuts. You can't skip any of the steps. If you try to skip steps, the consequence is oftentimes what we call demigration, or when your prospect actually goes the wrong way on the loyalty ladder. So by maintaining the process and following the steps that we outline, you'll ensure that you will minimize the loss of prospects while guiding your prospects up the loyalty ladder. You'll also be able to more accurately measure and effectively monitor the performance of your marketing strategy. So let's kind of wrap up the session with a look at a B2B example of a well-executed marketing strategy using the Market with Numbers framework. And here we're talking about a business that sells business services to other companies. First up, they need a greeter campaign. And here the business is using a newsletter to introduce themselves. They're hanging their shingle, if you will, providing some useful information in exchange for contact information. And at this stage, your prospects are loiterers. But the value exchange that's taken place at the greeter stage is exchange of information for contact information. But you have to have this value exchange in order to move the prospect to the next stage. The next stage is the concierge stage. And what this company is doing is client education. Now remember, the job of the concierge is to provide guidance and direction, not dissimilar to a concierge at a hotel. And here the business is providing this level of information in the form of client education. What comes back in exchange is market research and more data. And at this stage, the company is dealing with what we call lookers. Next is the consultant stage. And this is probably best recognized as a classic sales stage because now you're dealing with shoppers. And you know that shoppers have a purpose in becoming buyers. The business is exchanging information, they're listening and understanding the needs of the prospects, and then providing consulting services in return. The business is building up its value proposition, and the prospect is getting a clearer picture of what they'll be getting. The net result is that a proposal gets put out. And of course, the desired outcome is the customer accepts the proposal, gives their thumbs up, and transitions from being a shopper into being a buyer. It's at this stage that the ambassador steps in. Now, fundamentally, the ambassador is the one who completes the sales. The ambassador might have to continue to reinforce the benefits and unique selling points of the business, but fundamentally, the ambassador is the one who puts the final touches in place, then guides the final transition of the prospect into a customer. Now, when you enter the customer phase, we enter in other personalities. You have the butler, for example, whose focus is ensuring retention and then managing the necessary levels of customer service. And at the end, he's the one who's most responsible for really stimulating the loyalty. And remember, we call it a loyalty ladder for a reason. It's really about creating that final sense of loyalty and interdependency upon your business that you're trying to get. Next, you have the surveyor and miner. Now, they step in to ensure that the customer's transition within the whole customer phase isn't not just in maintaining a certain level of customer service or customer satisfaction. It's really the process of getting them from being enrolled customers to being engaged customers. I talked about that interdependency. We're trying to achieve that. We also need to measure customer satisfaction, and we want to make sure that we ultimately leverage our customers as new sources for new leads and sales opportunities. Now, as you put these personalities and campaigns together, you not only have a well-managed loyalty ladder, but you actually create a cycle of business success. So in looking at your own businesses, you'll want to ask yourselves, one, do I have a strategy in place with campaigns that match the design? You want to ask yourself whether I have all the colors covered. You want to ask yourself whether or not you have the right sequence in place. In other words, do you have the right connections in the loyalty ladder and in your campaigns? This is your principal roadmap for success. In future sessions, we'll be talking about tracking and measuring your campaigns. But first things first, start with a proper design, and you'll be taking a huge leap towards your future success.
Want to learn more? Download our free report and get more business by leveraging data and analytics in your marketing.